I thank the Noble Lord Vasey for securing this debate, which has been, I think, predictably very interesting and enjoyable. In the previous debate secured by my noble friend Baroness Jones of Moulsecoomb, Lord Evans of Weardale defined corruption as being about the misuse of entrusted power. Now, of course, colonial power was not entrusted by those who were colonised to us, to the powers. It was imposed on people at the point of a gun, a bayonet, a gunboat. And this is how we come to have the kind of objects that we're talking about today. Sometimes it's a very direct and clear case of theft, even under the laws of the time, but there is much broader issues as well about all of the objects from colonial backgrounds in our museums. I'm reminded of the fact the first time I went to the Foreign Office and looked around at the glorious surroundings and thought, this is where the wealth of India went. Which is a little simplistic, but you get the idea. Now, I should, I think, make a personal statement here. I come from a white settler background in Australia. I grew up on land that was stolen from the Wallumedegal people. I benefited from that, and I acknowledge that. And perhaps influenced by that background, and perhaps also unsurprisingly, I would go further than the Noble Lord Vasey in saying that I think it would be a step forward to empower trustees and directors to make decisions. But I think here there is a moral responsibility for the British government to make decisions about these objects that were stolen very often in its name. And I think the Noble Lord Vasey set out what's happening with Belgium, with Germany, with France, and many other places, and indeed institutions in the UK where we are seeing those returns. And I think the moral case here is overwhelming, and the Noble Lord Parkinson referred to short-term political pressures. But I think basic morality is not something that's subject to short-term pressures. If something was stolen, you give it back is a universal long-term value. And I make a practical point too about the geopolitics of today. If you look at the global view of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, in most of the global north, there is a clear understanding of Russia is in the wrong, Ukraine has been attacked. If you look at the global south, and particularly among publics in the global south, the view is not nearly so clear, and a lot of that comes from the kind of distrust of the global north of countries like the UK, long-term impacts of feeling like they've been victimised for so long. And on that point, I'll finish by referring to the point made by the Noble Lady Baroness Faulkner of Margravine, who said history cannot be unwound and it would take more than returning these objects to undo the damages of the past. And with that, I absolutely agree with her. Loss and damage in the global climate talks is a related and on scale much larger issue, but this at least would be a start of us doing the right thing. And in terms of global politics, making restitution for some of the damage we've done in the past would be taking us in the right direction.
Yeah.